sisters, and welcome back to the Metaphysical Apothecary. We are your hosts, Megan and Shannon. We are also known as the Scorpio sisters, and we are here to explore the mysterious, magical, and the arcane. Another way to kind of use color magic, if you are having that eye craving and you just can't get enough of it and you feel like you need some just really intensive color therapy, there's a bunch of really cool things you can do. So one of the things that you can do is they have essential oil diffusers that you can change the color of the lighting, and some of them diffuse the light through frosted glass or plastic. Put that in your bathroom, turn off the lights, turn that on, combine it with scent, combine it with water, and you can even combine it with sound, and turn your entire bathroom just into a sensory therapy space, like a sensory spa, a sensory haven, just for like the 20 minutes that it takes you to shower. At least it takes me 20 minutes to shower. But something else that you can do is they have lighted shower heads. You can certainly absolutely get one of those, a lamp that is meant for light therapy with the colored gels that you can slide in and out over the light. If you want just like a really super cheap and easy solution, colored sunglasses, tinted sunglasses. So I used to have sunglasses that were blue. Rose-colored glasses is a cliche in our society. They make yellow for filtering out blue light. You can get them in any color. So you can have a collection of these. And whatever you most, you can literally paint the world in that color.
Yeah, I had blue tinted glasses as well at one point in time in my teenage years.
Mm-hmm. We were so cool.
During my teenage years, I needed a lot of blue in my life, and I consumed it, wore it, put it on my walls. It was everywhere. I needed that blue. Of course, I didn't know why I needed that blue at that point in time, but I know now that I needed it because I was trying to tap into expressing myself.
Mm-hmm.
Not necessarily my creativity, but myself, speaking my truth, living my truth. And as a teenager, I was really having trouble doing that. So I was surrounding myself and consuming blue as much as I possibly could. And those blue tinted glasses helped.
Yeah, I feel like that's a theme. There are a lot of teens who gravitate towards blues or grays or blacks. And it's for the reasons that we've outlined in the podcast, is that they're young and they're still forming and they're trying to learn how to express themselves. So they're being introspective while also trying to put off a certain kind of energy.
Once I got to college, though, I was back into my red-purple game.
Yes, you were. I was still in blue-green territory at that point.
And I was definitely leaning more towards red, even if I didn't have as much red on my physical body and my clothing set. I know that I was exuding red, and I still am, and I get accused of this. I can be very intense, and red is an intense color.
Yep.
And I know that whether you are my friend, especially during college, or if you were someone I was putting in your place, I was intense about it.
Uh-huh. In fact, I think fate may have brought us together at that point because we balanced each other out pretty well, because I was deep in my shell, super deep in my shell. I know that you remember that, but you reached in there and you were like, nope, and like ripped me out of it. But like I said, I was still in my blue-green phase in terms of like searching for healing and searching for ways to express myself, balanced out some of the intensity. So we learned from each other.
Yeah, I know that my current color is more of a red wine burgundy. So purple has definitely come into play a little bit more as I'm an adult.
So another obvious but very interesting way to get the color that you need into your life, or to just explore color, explore like how it makes you feel, what kinds of frequencies you might need right now, what kinds of frequencies you might want to use, and how they're being used, is to go for nature walks to see how nature is using these colors, like we were talking about earlier with the poisonous and venomous animals, but also animals that maybe want to stand out for different reasons, like that are sexually dimorphic, where the brighter, happier colors in the females are less quote unquote impressive. Thinking about why that is. And I know for people who live in more urban areas, there are lots of interesting ways that color is, including advertisements, graffiti, streetwear. There's a lot that you can look at there.
One of the great ways in urban areas that you can see what color magic is being utilized by our society, our culture, is by walking around and doing some window shopping.
Mm-hmm.
You can tell what our society is energetically putting off based off of what the clothes in the windows are doing. Are they bright neon colors, which was happening in the last decade? It's still there, but not as much. And well, what does that mean, and why was those bright neon colors becoming popular during that time? Now you can do retroactive understanding of the color magic that happened during that time. But now that you have a little less of it in this decade, you can start to understand, well, neon green, what does that mean as a whole? What is that doing for people? What did we as a society need that neon green color was so prominent, or that neon pink color was so prominent?
Mm-hmm.
And you can now walk around and go, well, you know what? It's not so much neon that's the biggest color scheme anymore. We now have more neutrals that are coming out. They're not all neutrals. We still have nice pinks, and we have yellows that are out, and oranges are still a big thing. But the pattern seems to be more important than the color at this point in time. I am fascinated with walking around and looking at what people are wearing, the fashion trends, and the color and pattern and shape magic that happens when you look at these people doing it.
Mm-hmm.
I've stated in the past, I am a student of astrology. I love studying it. I am fascinated with it. And I noticed when Uranus went into Taurus, our fashion changed drastically. It wasn't just a fad change, which is what tends to happen from season to season, which is when more or less Venus changes signs. So we went from this Aries in the last decade or so, where neon was very prominent. We all liked lumberjack aesthetics. There's a very energetic and fast-paced vibe that comes off of those clothes.
Right.
We moved into Taurus, and the fashion changed. So that way we are now mostly wearing flower patterns. And it was at the beginning, it was almost all flower patterns with black backdrops.
Yep.
It was nightscape floral patterns. And it was fascinating to see how the color was changing from this bright neon active color to the base color being black. But that's something that I love doing, and I can do it because I could do it because I was commuting in the city. And New York City is very fashion forward.
Yep.
The fashion pace is also very fast. So I could see the change in the season. I could see the change in the trend very quickly and very broadly. People change their fashion quickly.
Mm-hmm.
It was just an interesting way to find what our society is trying to project and what each individual is trying to project within the society's projection.
Right, exactly. So again, unintentional color magic, it's something that is pervasive. And that's one of the things that makes it so powerful, is because everyone uses it no matter whether they tend to or not. So everyone recognizes it as well, even if it's just subconsciously.
When you go in a city setting or urban setting and there's graffiti on the walls, you're going to gravitate to the graffiti that is not just tag, really. And the color combinations or the scenes are more deliberate.
Yes.
Color is a big part of it. Even if it's a black and white, it's the color combination of what they're doing and how they're doing it, the composition of that art, of the graffiti. People are gravitating towards it.
Yeah, they really are.
Yeah, I know of 2 graffiti murals that I would pass on a daily when I was commuting into the city for working in office. The first one was all bluescapes and like under the sea. And then the second one was one that was done in browns and reds. And
it can have a profound effect on your psyche, that both the unexpected and also the mood that the colors and the composition place you in, which is why art is so prevalent and so important in our society. I remember the college near the coffee and tea room, there was that empty lot that had the mural all around the inside that was all nature inspired. Yes. I don't know the exact composition of it, but it was blues and greens and pinks. And it was, I was this country girl who was super not used to living in a city at all. He was just like a refresher, like I could feel the relief kind of wash over me the first time I saw that. And it was like I could smell, again, my other senses were engaged in, I could smell nature. Even though I was in, I could smell the trees and the soil and the flowers, even just for a moment.
I recognize Williamsport as a city to some extent. I don't recognize it as a city that most other people would recognize it as a city. So it was just a nice reminder for me when we went past that, hey, we're in the middle of the mountains. We're in the middle of wooded area.
Yeah.
Just because you're in a town center, a city center, or downtown and you can't see it doesn't mean it's not there.
Yeah. And it's interesting, our different experiences affected the way that we saw it too, because I had just 1,000 people.
That's what we have today on Color Magic here at the Metaphysical Apothecary podcast. I hope that you enjoyed and were inspired to look at your closets, think about your interior designs, and what you're consuming in relation to color and the energy you want to put off after listening to Meg and I discuss the different ways that we happen to enjoy using it and have noticed things in our worlds that put off the color energy and unintentional use of color magic as well. That's all we have on the topic for today. Thank you so much for listening in, and we hope you'll join us again. In the meantime, you can follow us on our blog for some more witchy wisdom, as well as check out some of our original art on Society 6 for sacred decor and more. Thank you again for joining us, and go make some magic and live your best life. Bye.
Bye, everyone.